And this brings us to the very significant, courageous, and important words that Miss Denise has never spoken out loud on any broadcast to anyone. It's information that she knows because a call was made to her 2 days before the passing of Marcus. And I want to lay out how this took place. Marcus was in the hospital, and in the room were Joni Lamb, Rachel Lamb, Susie, and Marcus. And Marcus asked Rachel to please call Miss Denise right now. So I'd also like to read for you a statement from Susie Lamb, basically confirming this meeting that took place. Susie let me know today that this is what happened. Joni, Rachel, and I were in the hospital room with Marcus when Marcus asked to talk to Denise. So Rachel called him from either her phone or Marcus's phone, and I heard Marcus tell Denise to write down some things. And Miss Denise Boggs today would like you to know those words that Marcus spoke from his deathbed, his final wishes, his final will, if you will. What he wanted to see happen should there be an untimely death. This is Miss Denise Boggs in her own words.
Recently, I heard a podcast by Laura-Lynn, really encouraging those that knew the truth to come forward. And I was convicted deep in my heart because I know some truth that needs to be brought forward. My name is Denise Boggs. I was a friend of the Lamb family. And I want to tell you what happened just 2 days before Marcus passed. I received a call, and the call was him on the other line. He had one of his girls to dial my number. And he said, Miss Denise, I need you to write some things down for me. I said, okay, Marcus, I'll be glad to. And he said, you know, Joni and I have built Daystar, but I really believe it's time for me to say that we built it so the children could carry it on. And I said, okay. And he said, did you write that down? I said, yes. And then he said, well, first of all, there's our son, Jonathan, and he would be the first one that needs to step in and carry things on. He's the first lamb. And then there's his wife, Susie. She took his name, Susie Lamb, and she'll be beside him to support him. I said, okay. And then he said, and then there's Rachel Lamb Brown, and she will be beside him on the other side, helping him to keep everything going. And I need to make sure now you're writing it down. Yes, Marcus, I'm writing it down. And then he said, then there's Rebecca Lamb Weiss. And she will be like on the other side, like Aaron and her, holding up Jonathan's arms. And her husband, Jonathan Wise, will be alongside her to help her. Are you writing that down? He said. I said, yes, Marcus, I'm writing it down. And so when he finished, I knew he had left someone out. But I did not say anything, and I knew that there was some deep pain because of what had happened in the family. And I knew that that's probably why he did not mention Joshua Brown. But I did not question him on that. This was his time to speak from his heart and not be controlled or manipulated in any way. And I said, okay, I've got it all written down. And he said, okay, thank you. You make sure it gets where it needs to go. I said, okay, I will. And so he hung up the phone, or he had someone else to hang it up. And then I did submit it to different family members. I told Joni about it. I told Rachel and I told Rebecca about what had happened. So they all knew.
Well, there's some things to consider in light of Miss Denise Boggs' words. The number one thing that I'd like to have all of us consider and the Lamb family consider is that the wishes of Marcus Lamb have not been honored. Not only have they not been honored, but Jonathan Lamb has been fired, removed, spiritually abused, threatened, followed, tracked by something that is known as the Daystar Mafia. The wishes have not been followed. Jonathan Lamb was raised by his father to be the one who would succeed him, the one who would allow, should Marcus have lived, Joni and Marcus to retire, be well, certainly be part of the ministry, but there was a consideration now that as time moved on, they had built something for their children to operate in their own destinies, and now it was time. Or perhaps soon after, had Marcus lived. But in the wake of everything that has happened, something spiritually appalling has taken place. And my thought goes right now to any of those out there who are leaders and friends of the Lamb family. I wonder if this might be the time when you step in. I wonder if this might be the time when you make it right, that you become an intervener to see Jonathan Lamb restored to his position that Marcus Lamb intended.